The Frederic and Lucy Kellogg Award is named in recognition of Mr. and Mrs. Kellogg's commitment to the greater Waterbury community. This award is presented annually to an individual exemplifying the Kellogg sense of community responsibility and social awareness, who also embodies United Way's vision of caring community. The United Way of Greater Waterbury is proud to present the 2011 Frederic and Lucy Kellogg Award to Andrew Skipp. Andrew Skipp is president and CEO of Hubbard Hall Incorporated in Waterbury, running the day-to-day operations of that company since 1999, where he has positioned the company as one of the most respected independent distributors in the industry. A longtime supporter of the United Way of Greater Waterbury, Mr. Skipp has served on the Community Leaders Council, as chairman of the 2005 annual campaign, chairman of Leadership Giving, Tocqueville Society co-chair, and Manufacturing Division chair. Mr. Skipp has served on the Waterbury Hospital Network, including treasurer of Waterbury Hospital Board of Trustees, as chairman of the National Association of Chemical Distributors, and serves on the boards of the Riverside Cemetery, Naugatuck Savings Bank, Chabasso Bakery, and the Waterbury Development Corporation. The United Way of Greater Waterbury is pleased to present the 2011 Frederic and Lucy Kellogg Award to Andrew Skipp.
Thank you. First, let me congratulate the other award winners this evening, Mr. Frank Cinto, the Thomas Carosello family and friends, Albert Brothers, and Chemtura Corporation. I remember 20 years ago when my grandmother presented this award, which was then called the Kellogg Award, for the first time in honor of my grandfather who had died the previous year. The first recipient was Jim Smith. There was no more worthy person to receive that award than Jim for all the exemplary work that he has done and continues to do in Waterbury, both personally and through Waterbury, the Webster Bank. Following the footsteps of his father, Harold, and his mother, Kopi, who received the Frederic and Lucy Kellogg Award in 1999. As we gather here to recognize the achievements of this year's campaign in a struggling economy, particularly here in Waterbury, it is encouraging to see the leadership of our co-chairs, Peter Baker, whose family and business Crystal Rock has done so much, and particularly with this check that we got this evening, that's just wonderful. And for Joe Gugliotti, who, I don't know how many of you know this, he was past national chairman for the Special Olympics and brought his technical and marketing expertise in so many of the things that we saw this year in this year's campaign from his company Works Branding. And it was just wonderful. These are people whose families live, work, and provide jobs, as well as being community leaders here in the 10-town area served by the United Way. This is the culture. This is the fabric that binds us together in a tireless effort to make our community a place we are proud to call our home. I had the good fortune to have parents who cared about their community and instilled those values in me. My father was a minister, and my mother, Frederic and Lucy's daughter, served the church family and those in the surrounding towns. My godfather, mentor, and role model is my Uncle Chuck Kellogg, whom I work for at Hubbard Hall, where we are great supporters of the United Way, and we have the Teamsters Union there, and they are wonderful supporters of the United Way. Chuck is the 2003 recipient of this award, and along with all the many contributions he's done through the years, he has for many years and continues to be a mentor at Driggs School, where he was once a student over 70 years before. Can you imagine the conversation if I had not been an active volunteer? It was not a conscious decision on my part, but a way of life that you give to those less fortunate, you offer a helping hand, you act to right a wrong, to make a difference in some small way. I suspect there are many of us here tonight who are fortunate enough to have similar backgrounds. We as a community of families have an obligation to those families less fortunate. Here we have two wonderful hospitals, Waterbury and St. Mary's, museums like the Mattituck Museum, numerous churches, synagogues, temples, police departments, professional firemen, volunteer firemen, emergency crews, and one United Way. It supports it as best it can 55 programs through 34 agencies, which provides a coordinated support structure for all of us. How lucky, how fortunate we are to be a part of this culture of caring. This, in no small way, is thanks to the wonderful United Way staff, Kristen Jacoby, Janet Collins, Rebecca Williams, Brian Amaro, Joanne Reynolds-Blanda, Glenn McCabe, Renee Young, Mary DePino, Ruth Galliette, and Maggie Kopczynski, who work closely with the agency staff and volunteers on our behalf daily. Thanks to all of them. Now, talk about family. Next year's chairman, co-chairs, Dr. Peter Jacoby of St. Mary's Hospital, is married to the president CPO of United Way. And another doctor, Dr. Travel, Paul Largay, runs Uncle Roland's business, Largay Travel. What a crazy team we have for next year. Buckle your seatbelts, it's going to be a bumpy ride. Frederic and Lucy Kellogg, Nanny and Grampy to me, would be proud of all those who volunteer of their time and talents. They were two of the original founders of what was then the Community Chest and became our United Way back in 1942. They believed it was one's responsibility to make the communities a better place for having lived here. If I have learned anything from watching past recipients of this award, Jim Smith, Jackie Carroll, Tim Carmody, Bob Wesson, Joel Becker, Chuck Kellogg, Bill Pape, Bill Morris, Bert Albert, John Tobin, and Fred Lutke, it is that they continue to help. Their work is never done. No matter what awards they receive along the way, they continue to serve and inspire others by their leadership. As we live united here in the United Way of Greater Waterbury, we give, advocate, volunteer, and I would add celebrate our efforts for our community here tonight. I would argue that we are not part of the United Way of Greater Waterbury, but members of the United Way of the greatest Waterbury community. And I ask that you stand and give yourselves a round of applause with a standing ovation.